Capture the beauty and essence of your special day with the right wedding photographer. Sonya Cogan owns Sonya Cogan Photography, very, very appropriate name, and she joins us today with the do's and don'ts of wedding photography, which is so important. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. We were all joking and saying your eyes are so beautiful, you're so well lit, and who knows better about lighting than you do, right? And you know, I think when people are getting married, they think so much about the day itself, but you need those memories beyond the day, and that's what you do so well. So how should a bride and groom even go about selecting the right wedding photographer?
Well, the best thing is to take your time.
Okay.
Start early. Don't plan it, 30 days ahead. So definitely start looking at all the different photographers that are out there.
Okay.
And start planning early. That's the best advice I can give.
How far in advance do you usually get booked up so people know?
It can be a year or more.
Really?
Yeah, depending on the date. If somebody chooses Saturday in June, something like that, everybody's going to book up that date very quickly. If it's a Sunday in December, you got a little bit more wiggle room.
Okay, well that's good to know,
yeah.
Depending on the time of year. Now you also suggest that couples ask to see a collection of maybe one entire wedding. So instead of just seeing like a few of the best photos from each, they want to see the whole thing, which I totally understand. So let's explain why you do that.
Right, well that's really, really important. That's probably one of the most important things is you don't want to choose somebody who you just see one good photo from each wedding, because somebody can get lucky and just show the good stuff. You want to see how do they shoot an entire wedding from start to finish. How's their lighting? How's their posing? Are they consistent? So that is probably one of the single most important things you can ask your wedding photographer. Can I see one entire wedding?
I love that idea. I think that makes such a difference. And I think another thing that people think about as far as differences go are the differences between traditional wedding photography and trendy wedding photography. I mean, what do you do? What do you recommend? What do you think about all that?
I tell people try to avoid super, super trendy, because you're going to look at your wedding photos in a year or 2 years and you may not like them.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, trends come and go, but if you get somebody who shoots traditional classic poses, as well as capturing in the moment, that's so important. You want to relive that day and look at your photos and melt over and over and over again.
Those moments you didn't even know you were being photographed.
Exactly.
That's the key.
Yes.
Those are always the best pictures. And like you can see right there, like the way he's kissing her. I mean, it's sometimes when they're posed, it takes away that moment, and you want that spontaneity. Yes, exactly. We're on the same page.
Yes.
So now I know one of the biggest concerns, of course, in planning the wedding is the budget. So what's a reasonable budget for wedding photography, so people know what to plan?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You want to sort of look at as many different photographers as you can and see sort of in the medium. If somebody's charging way, way less than the norm, that's not a good sign.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, maybe tempting to save money, but it never works out. You want to choose somebody who's right in line with everybody else. Then you're good to go.
I think it's why people say you get what you pay for. I mean, you have to plan to spend something, but you don't have to go overboard. That's what you're trying to say.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, you don't have to break the piggy bank, but you also don't want to go with somebody who's
too budget.
Too budget.
So what are fair expectations then that a couple should have of the photographer, both at the ceremony and at the reception? Because there's a lot going on, and especially you guys are the busiest people at a wedding. I used to DJ, and the photographer is running. I mean, you get a workout.
Right.
You are running around all day.
Yeah, come Sunday morning or the next morning, I can feel it in my muscles. we're holding heavy equipment, we're moving fast.
So what can they expect then?
They can expect, you really want your photographer to do what they say they're going to do. That's the most important thing. And you want them there the entire time with you.
Good point.
And communicating with you. Hey, how are you feeling? That sort of thing.
That's a gorgeous photo, by the way, that we're looking at.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, so one of the expectations is for them to have you with them all along, and for you to capture, like you said, those spontaneous, adorable moments that really show what the party was all about from the ceremony all the way through that reception. So what would you say, if viewers were curious about this, what would you say is your personal philosophy of shooting a wedding?
100% customer satisfaction, good communication, making sure that your bride and grooms are very, very happy, that you're communicating, you know what they want, you're doing what they want, not just what you want, but you're also the expert. So it's a mutual effort, I should say.
It seems like when you're doing special occasions, it's kind of like live television. You don't get a second chance. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and if you don't capture it in that moment, you don't get that try all over again.
Exactly.
This is it. So it's a lot of pressure, but you do it well. And it's not just weddings that you shoot. Can you tell us a little bit about the other photography you do?
Yeah, maternity photos, the baby bump, family portraits, headshots. Everybody nowadays needs a headshot.
Oh, yeah.
Dogs. I'm really into animals, so I shoot dogs. I call it photography.
Oh, and, photography. I love that. That's so cool.
So,
you know what we should have when our pet of the week gets adopted, we should do like new family photos. We should have you do that. That's kind of a cool idea, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's got to be such a great feeling. I always talk about this, but the gratification that you get to see a picture and know that that's something they'll have to cherish forever and show generation and generation, and you shot it. It's a great feeling, isn't it?
It feels wonderful. And it's just so important to document these times in our lives.
No kidding.
Can relive the joy and the magic of the day.
Yeah, and with all the trends going in and out, one thing that never goes out of style is a great picture. And so we appreciate what you do. How can our viewers contact you?
They can call me, or they can contact me through my website, www.sonyacogan.com, or 505-480-6099.
And as Sonya mentioned, if you have just recently got engaged, you really want to get on top of that plan now and start hiring all of your vendors, including your photographer, because you don't want to procrastinate in that department. No way.
No. You want to get out there ahead of time. Give yourself plenty of time.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for being with us. Such a pleasure to meet.